Hello and welcome to a new vlog and trip report, and today we're traveling by train in France. We are going from Le Havre to Fécamp and back, and here on the map you can see our route today. We're starting at the main station of Le Havre, and then we are taking a train to Bréauté-Beuzeville, and from there we're taking a bus to Fécamp, and then we're taking a train all the way back. Here we can see the impressive station building of Le Havre and the station hall, but my train today is located outside of the station hall, so I'm walking past a few trains. Some of them are also stored here for a couple of hours, and here we can see my train now. This is a Alstom Caradia Polyvalent. In France, this type of train is also called Régiolis, and there are several different versions. We are now traveling with the class B 84500, which is a dual mode regional train. And here we can take a look at the interior, which is quite nice. It is very well equipped. It's not very typical for France because the seats are not too soft. They're still quite comfortable, but not as soft as seats usually are in France. But therefore you have a much bigger seat pitch than usual. And we have a lot of features. We have a movable armrest, and we have a big sturdy table, which is also suitable for working. And we also have reading lights. So this train does have a very nice interior.
Mesdames, Messieurs, la région Normandie et SNCF Voyageurs vous souhaitent la bienvenue à bord de notre train nomade à destination de Rouen, rive droite. Il desservira Étaus, Saint-Romain, Bréauté-Beuzeville, Yvetot, Pavilly, Barentin. Pour voyager à bord de ce train, vous devez posséder un titre de transport valide. L'étiquetage de vos bagages est obligatoire. Ne les laissez pas sans surveillance et signalez-nous tout colis ou objet qui vous semble être abandonné. Nous vous souhaitons un agréable voyage.
We've now left the main station of Le Havre. We're now on the railway line Paris-Le Havre. We're following that railway line until Bréauté-Beuzeville, and there we are leaving the train again. This train is continuing on to Rouen, and it's not stopping at most stations in between. Between Le Havre and Bréauté-Beuzeville we have one former connection on to Montivilliers and earlier on to Les Ifs, which is on the railway line to Fécamp. But this railway line is closed. I will tell you a bit more about this later on in the video. We're now approaching one station in between where we are stopping, and here we can listen to the sound of the Régiolis once again.
Ce train nomade est à destination de Rouen, rive droite. Il desservira Bréauté-Beuzeville, Yvetot, Pavilly, Barentin.
The Régiolis is part of the Alstom Caradia Polyvalent family, but it's now produced by CAF. We're now going to Bréauté-Beuzeville. There I'm leaving the train and I have to take a bus to get to Fécamp, because in France small branch lines often only see services at peak times, and otherwise there are only buses. So here I'm leaving the train and we can listen to the departure. Here at the station of Bréauté-Beuzeville I now have to wait a couple of minutes until the bus is arriving, and as you can see it is an Iritza bus, which is a Spanish company building quite nice and comfortable coaches. As you can see, very nice seats, they are very comfortable. We have tables, the seat pitch is rather tight, but the seats are nice and comfortable, so it is a quite nice and comfortable ride to Fécamp now. We have a stop in between, whilst the train later on will go directly back from Fécamp to Bréauté-Beuzeville. It is quite typical for France that there are, for example, no hourly services on branch lines, or not even trains every 2 hours, but only at peak times, and out of peak times there are like replacement buses. This is not an actual replacement bus, but it's a scheduled bus service that replaces a train. Therefore, we are now turning around here at the roundabout and we're going directly to the station of Fécamp, which is the end of this bus line. And from here I'm heading back to Le Havre later on by train, but of course I'm going to show you a bit of Fécamp and I'm going to tell you whether it's worth visiting or not. As you can see, we're now at the port, at the marina of Fécamp, with quite some impressive clouds, but I was lucky it didn't rain even though I was visiting in November. So you can imagine how beautiful this has to be in summer. Here we are at the beach. It's a gravel or stone beach, and we can see the cliffs in the background, which are quite typical for this region. We're not too far away from Étretat. Maybe you remember my cruise videos where I visited Étretat multiple times, which is very, very famous and beautiful in this area for its cliffs and arches. Here we can see those cliffs, also a bit less spectacular than in Étretat, but still very, very beautiful. And the most beautiful building here in Fécamp is for sure the Palais Benedictine, which we can see here. Very interesting building. You can also visit it. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time. I had around 2 hours to spend here in Fécamp, and then I had to be back at the station. And now we can take a look at the arrival of my train, which will take me now back to Le Havre. We're again taking a Régiolis, but now it's a different version. It's now the version B84900, which is a shorter version, also considered an intercity version and also a dual mode train. The interior is basically the same. The seats have a different color, but otherwise it's the same interior. I was actually expecting a different train. I was expecting the Alstom-Coradia Ater or the Baleine Bleue, which is a diesel rail car, but they have recently been replaced by the Régiolis dual mode trains. And now we can listen to the departure here in Fécamp.
Mesdames, Messieurs, la région Normandie et SNCF Voyageurs vous souhaitent la bienvenue à bord de notre train nomade à destination du Havre. Il desservira Bréauté-Beuzeville, Étaus Saint-Romain, Saint-Laurent-Ganneville, Harfleur. Pour voyager à bord de ce train, vous devez posséder un titre de transport valide. L'étiquetage de vos bagages est obligatoire. Ne les laissez pas sans surveillance et signalez-nous tout colis ou objet qui vous semble être abandonné. Nous vous souhaitons un agréable voyage.
Directly after leaving the station of Fécamp, there used to be another railway line heading on to Dieppe, but it's not in use anymore, and we're turning to the right, and there we have two short tunnels within the city of Fécamp, and then we're heading to Bréauté-Beuzeville. We are not stopping in between, there are no stations in between, but there used to be two stations, and the most interesting one is the station at Les Ifs, and there you had a connection on to Étretat and to Le Havre. Here we can see the railway line, the former railway line to Étretat, which unfortunately is not in use anymore. And after you see this, you have to be on the right side of the train, because at the former station of Les Ifs there are several old trains stored, and it's quite interesting. There are some very rare and interesting trains stored, so make sure to sit on the right side, especially when we're passing the former station of Les Ifs. There used to be a second station, but it's also not in use anymore, so we are going directly to Bréauté-Beuzeville. From there, the train is then continuing on to Le Havre. So whenever there is a train to or from Fécamp, it's usually connected on to Le Havre. So it's a bit of a different concept than, for example, in Germany or other European countries, where you would probably have a train offering an hourly service between Bréauté-Beuzeville and Fécamp, and in peak times the train continues on to Le Havre, but you usually have a connection here in Bréauté-Beuzeville to the trains from Rouen and to Le Havre and the other way around. But here it is a bit different. You only have trains at peak times and they're always going to Le Havre, and out of peak times you have to take the bus. And now we are approaching Bréauté-Beuzeville, and here we can listen to the change from the diesel engine to electric operations.
Ce train nomade est à destination du Havre. Il desservira Étaus Saint-Romain, Saint-Laurent-Ganneville, Harfleur,
So in my opinion, that's quite impressive how fast the train can change from diesel power to electric power, so very, very interesting. And that's also the reason why they replaced the Alstom-Coradia Arter, which is a regular diesel train. And this train, the Régiolis, now can use the catenary and can run electrically all the way to Le Havre. We're now stopping at all stations in between, whilst most other trains are going through those small stations. We're now stopping at all stations. So also these stations here on the railway line Paris-Le Havre only have trains stopping there a few times a day. So also here it's a bit different concept than in other European countries. Here we can see the former railway line to Les Ifs via Montivilliers. It has been closed in 2024 and will be replaced by the tram. And soon we are going through the railway station Le Havre-Graville, which has also been closed in 2024 and will be replaced by the tram. If you want to go to Fécamp, when you're visiting Le Havre, for example by cruise ship, that's possible, but you cannot go there spontaneously. You need to plan ahead due to the schedule of the train. And here we are now back at Le Havre, again stopping outside of the station hall, heading inside now. There we can see also one of the few TGV trains that are stopping here. And here we can see the impressive station hall of Le Havre, and directly opposite of the station building was my hotel, and here in this hotel we are also continuing in the next video. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Here you can see when the next video will be uploaded. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video then.